Most sellers think the goal is just to get their home listed. But the truth is, the first 7 days of the market can have a huge impact on how much money you actually walk away with. If you get those first few days wrong, you don't just lose time, you lose leverage, buyer excitement, and negotiating power. In some cases, you can lose thousands of dollars without even realizing it. So today, I want to walk through exactly what happens during your first week, why this matters so much, and what you should be doing before your home even goes live. Because what I'm seeing in the market right now is sellers doing almost everything right, except the part that matters the most at the very beginning. Once that first wave of attention passes, we don't really get it back. When a home hits the market, it's not that we're looking at market time as much as this is your maximum exposure window. That's when your listing first hits the MLS. It shows up online, gets sent to agents, and reaches buyers who have already been waiting. According to the National Association of Realtors, many buyers are already actively searching for a home before yours will even hit the market. So when your home goes live, you're not waiting on buyers. Buyers are already waiting for you. That's why this first week matters so much. You don't get unlimited chances at a first impression in real estate. The first few days are when a buyer decides if your home feels fresh, competitive, and worth acting on. And here's where a lot of sellers make a very costly mistake. They treat the first week like a test. They think, let's just see what happens. If it doesn't work, we can adjust later, but the market doesn't work that way. Buyers notice patterns very quickly. When a home is new, buyers feel urgency. They assume competition. They move faster. They pay attention. But when that home sits for a bit, that same exact home, everything changes. Now buyers are thinking, what's wrong with it? Why isn't it sold? Maybe there's room to negotiate. And that shift matters because the longer a home sits, the more likely buyers are getting ready to expect a deal. And once that perception sits in, it's very hard to undo. So the real question is, are you launching your home or just listing it? Because those are two very different scenarios. A strong launch creates urgency. It can create competition. It can lead to stronger offers, better terms. But a weak listing does the opposite. It slows things down. It puts you on the defensive. And that difference is not just emotional, it's financial. So when a home is priced right, presented well, marketed well, ready on day one, it creates early attention. And that attention gives you leverage. And that leverage is everything for a seller. It means that buyers feel like they need to act. It means that you're not explaining your listing. It means that you're in control. But when the first week doesn't go well, that tone changes fast. Maybe the price was too high. Maybe the photos didn't stand out. Maybe small repairs were left undone. Maybe the home just doesn't feel ready. Whatever reason, the result is usually the same. You don't get the activity you expected, and now you're trying to recover. And that's when price reductions happen. And price reductions don't just change numbers, they change perception. Buyers don't think, great, better deal. Sometimes they think, oh, they were overpriced, or there was probably something wrong, or maybe they're not as reasonable as we once thought. And here's the part that most sellers missed. A price reduction doesn't necessarily reset perception. Sometimes it confirms it. So now instead of creating confidence, we're trying to rebuild it. And that's why preparation matters. If you're thinking about selling, there are 3 things that you want to get right before you go live. First, price it for the market, not above it. I know, it's tempting to leave room for negotiation. But in most cases, pricing correctly from the start creates more interest. Second, handle the small things before buyers ever see them. This is loose handles, worn fixtures, minor repairs. They seem small, but buyers notice. And small details can change how an entire home feels. And third, be ready on day one. This is your professional marketing photos. Have your marketing plan ready. Have a pricing plan ready. Before you go live, you're already on the clock. A home shouldn't just be listed, it should be launched. Listing is passive, launching is intentional. A listing says, here it is. A launch says, we're ready and we expect interest. And buyers feel that difference. There's also an emotional side of this. Most sellers aren't just selling, they're thinking about what comes next. Buying another home, timing a move, managing finances, trying to move forward with confidence. But when the first week goes poorly, it doesn't just affect the sale, it affects everything after it. Because what buyers see in the first 7 days is usually what they remember. They remember how they felt. They remember if it looked right. They remember if the home seemed worth acting on. And once those impressions are formed, it's hard to change. So if you're thinking about selling, don't treat the first week like a waiting period. Treat it like a launch window with a plan in place with a trusted realtor. In many cases, That's exactly what it should be. If you want to sell with a plan, this is where it starts. Not after the listing is live, not after the first weekend, but before anyone ever sees it. That's how you protect your leverage. That's how you protect your momentum. And that's how you give yourself the best chance at a strong result. I welcome the opportunity to do that for you. Hit me up and I'll show you how. Until then, take care, friends.